Hello everybody and welcome to your Saturday update for Litecoin. What we're seeing today is a slight increase in price of roughly 0.5% at the time of filming. However, as I have said in previous episodes, we are now coming to a pretty crucial point in my personal opinion when it comes to Litecoin. I'm going to be sharing with you what I think that is. I'm going to be sharing with you where I think we could go from here. So all of that is obviously coming up in the next couple of minutes. Just let me say as well, guys, if you like these sorts of videos, make sure to give them a like and subscribe. The more people who like, the more people who subscribe, it tells me that you want to see more. Also, feel free to recommend some other cryptos or stocks for me to look at in the future. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Now, what I want to highlight today is that we're seeing a gain of 0.7%. Really not noteworthy as a percentage at all, and not really that significant. At the same time, it's a weekend, you wouldn't really expect too much at the moment, but we are seeing that slight increase as of so far today. Now, if you watch the videos that I made in the last couple of days on Litecoin, you'll remember that I said a few things. One of the things that I said is that Litecoin has had a lot of difficulty in the past, not just here, but also historically at this level, roughly 130. And if you look to what we saw on the charts recently, all the way from that 125 to the 130 range, we've bounced off that many a time in the past. We'll talk about that more in just a second, but that kind of ties into where we're going next, right? Because again, this 132, 134 mark, if you have a look both here and previously in the past, which we'll get to, we've had a lot of difficulty at this stage. However, now we are coming to a point where things could potentially be picking up. I mean, so far, we have technically seen a bottom on the price recently, which is all the way at 117, not too far off where we are right now. And with the price action coming to a potential level of resistance, there's a lot to look at, there's a lot to look forwards to, and I think the week ahead is going to be a rather interesting one to watch here. So my opinion on Litecoin for the more mid to long term, guys, if you've been watching, you'll know that it is bullish, right? I hold Litecoin. I am obviously in Litecoin myself. I think things here for the long term are very good. At the same time, we've got to be realistic with the mid or short term trends and look at what's actually happening, what might happen next, and make our minds up based off of that. So whilst my stance for the long term is a positive one, in the short term, there are a few levels that I personally am going to be paying attention to. So going forwards into the next few days, I think there are a few noteworthy things to pick up on here, and to do this I think we'll go out to the 1 month chart. I think that works a little bit better. Now, we've seen our bottom recently, which has been at about 117. That's been a level of support which we've seen hold up at a few points in the past, again recently here, but also going back to around here. If you guys are ready to get serious about trading for less than the price of a coffee every day, I've got to tell you about the new Patreon page that I have just launched. That's right, guys, I have a new Patreon. I'm going to be sharing everything on here, from my personal stocks that I am watching to pre-market updates, as well as a Discord group which I have started. It's going to allow you to access similar-minded, like-minded people who are also interested in sharing their knowledge about the markets. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff over here, guys. There's going to be a lot of exclusive content coming in the next couple of weeks, but do bear in mind, for most of the tiers, spots are limited. The Market Scout, where you'll gain access to the Discord, prices will change after 150 members. At the moment, guys, I'm limited for time, so the Trader's Edge course and above, we're limiting the courses even lower, right? There's a limited amount of people who can join. At the same time, depending on the level of mentorship that you want, we have prices going all the way up from 1450 to the highest tiers over here that you can see. Again, if you're looking to take your journey to that next level, on these middle tiers, this is personally the one that I would recommend, even though it's not the most expensive. It costs less than a coffee every single day, and the amount of information that you'll get here, in my personal opinion, is absolutely worth the value. At the very least, guys, you can become a member for free. The link is down in the description, the comment section, and the bio. Just give it a look and see what you think. And of course, feel free to sign up if you're looking to take your journey even further. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video. Whilst that is good, it's still very soon to say this downwards trend that we've seen since 134 is over. I think it's very, very premature to say this. I mean, since we've been at those levels, we are now seeing your lower highs, minus obviously what we're seeing right now, and up until recently, lower lows. And again, the most important thing going forwards into both tomorrow and the rest of next week is going to be, can we actually break out of this range? We need to remain above 120 for things to seem bullish. If we can remain above 120 and then start to move back upwards, we could be looking to test that range in the 130s yet again. However, like I've said, that has previously been a level of difficulty. But yeah, for now, we're looking to hold this one above 120. That's going to be great. We've seen this level hold up many a time in the past. If we, however, cannot hold this, we could be looking to go just a little bit lower. My next level to watch out would be 118.70, roughly around there. That's held up briefly here. It also held up way back here as well, and it's somewhat held up around here too. So they are the key levels for right now. However, in terms of the short to mid-term trend here on Litecoin, I would be very wary of the thing that I mentioned here, which is the difficulty that we constantly have at this range and how this could tie into the most recent pump that we are seeing. So like you can see over here, right, this is a chart going way back to 2020 and before, and you can see the point that I'm trying to make here is seemingly very true. We have had these jumps where we've seen the price go all the way up to the 300s, 400s, and this kind of ties into my point as well. Look at the red line that we're at right now, or perhaps slightly higher, where I'm going to draw this line here. What stands out to you? Well, a few things stand out to me. The first thing that stands out to me is that recently, this is a point where we've had a lot of difficulty breaking past. We also had difficulty at this point in December into January of this year and into March and February. So we've had difficulty at these levels very recently. Previously, also way back here in July of 2022, I believe it was, we had difficulty at this same point. Right, this is very noteworthy, and you could argue that we had difficulty at the same point all the way back in 2019. You know, this is a previous level of difficulty at many a point. If we can begin to get above that or get back up to that, that's what we're trying to test again, right? On the upside, we want to test really this 130, 132, 133 range, and then obviously break past that. If we can see that happen, we could be onto much higher highs, because seemingly almost every time, minus really maybe one, which is here, every single time we've got above 136, 137, we've gone up pretty big, right? Way back here, arguably way back here as well. So all of these times that it does happen, and again guys, I am not a financial advisor, so it's impossible to say with any degree of certainty, but just looking at what we're seeing on the charts here, right? Every time we have been above it in the past, or most of the times we've been above it in the past, things go up quite a bit more. However, the difficulty for now, in my opinion, is going to be simply getting back up there, right? It's going to take maybe a week or so of solid, consistent growth. And most crucially, it's going to require the levels that we're at right now to really hold up. And again, zoom out to the year-to-date chart, and you're going to see, yes, this is absolutely a possibility. Again, if we can still hold above 100, pretty good. At the same time, guys, it's important to ask, because, you know, we've seen this bounce off of this 130, 132 mark before and go back down significantly. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen, but it's important to be aware of it. But what I'm trying to say here is going into the next couple of days, and I'll give you more updates on this as a week passes, but what I'm trying to say here is proceed with caution and be aware of this trend historically. Again, not just in the short term, in the more long term. This is a level that we've had difficulty at many a time in the past. It's not a new thing, it's a constant thing, right? So if you can pay attention to that, if you can be aware of that, and if you can be aware of the levels to the downside that we're looking at, things could be good. I think we're at that stage right now where if you're more speculative, if you're more risk adverse, potentially we could be coming down to some very interesting levels if people are looking to hold on to that next ride up to the 200 plus range. Not financial advice, right? If you think it's going to break above the cycle, if you think it's possible based on what you're seeing, that could be a great time coming up. However, if you are cautious and look into the fact that it could maybe drop, you know, we could be going to prices significantly lower than this, in which case it would obviously be worth waiting. Obviously, it's all to play for. However, I want to give you both perspectives, right? It's not my intention here on this channel to give you an opinion. That's for you to form. What I want to do is give you the evidence as I see it and the information as I see it so you guys can go on to make better informed decisions in the future. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, guys, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. And I hope I will see you in another one very soon. Goodbye.